Hello, and welcome to the show that fought the law and won, Ian's Ideas. Before Disney, in its infinite wisdom, decided to purchase Star Wars, Lucasfilm was a direct competitor to the industry giant. As everyone knows, Star Wars was released in 1977 and would become the highest grossing film of all time at that point. What's one thing we know about Disney? They don't like it when they're not number one. They're the spoiled rich kid who has to have it all. My dad's gonna buy this place. So Disney saw Star Wars and said, we can do that. We can make a movie that's even better. But the problem was that they couldn't, and what we were left with was a strange piece of Disney history. A mostly forgotten, but occasionally stumbled upon oddity. The black hole is like if you were to take elements from Star Wars, Star Trek, 2001, and Lost in Space and make a movie that's not as good as any of them. A group of scientists and doctors aboard a research vessel discover a black hole.
My God! Right out of Dante's Inferno!
But even stranger is a huge ship stationed at the edge of the swirling abyss. One of the doctors recognizes it as a long-lost ship that her father was the captain of, so they head over to investigate. Hey wait, is that Anthony Perkins? Yeah, the psycho himself. Once they make it inside, the ship seems abandoned until they meet this guy who's definitely not a bad guy.
My dear child, I'm sorry to dash your hopes, but your father's not with us anymore. He's dead.
He has an army of robots working for him, and he claims the rest of the crew was killed. Seems like a pretty honest guy that isn't hiding anything. The stormtrooper-like robots are pretty cool with their lasers and whatnot, but there are two smaller robots that are meant to be the comic relief.
Vincent's my name, sharpshooting's my game.
They're not very funny, but I wonder if they could have inspired Eve from WALL-E. Unfortunately, not much else happens. The story is stretched so thin that you could use it as dental floss. Speaking of which, our sponsor for this episode is Colgate Floss Picks. Yeah, just kidding. We don't have sponsors here. One of the robots reveals that the bearded guy is actually evil. What? And that his army of robots is actually the missing crew.
These poor creatures are what's left of the crew. Kept alive by means I don't pretend to understand.
He just did horrible experiments on them to make them Terminator-like androids. This movie should be retitled The Stepford Wives in Space. The problem with this revelation is that it cheapens the effect when the main characters finally figure it out. Imagine this reveal if there had been no indication of the androids prior. That would have been creepy, but since the robot told us all about it, it wasn't very surprising. Anyways, mad scientist beard guy decides that he's going to drive the ship straight into the black hole, so our group of protagonists have no choice but to navigate across the entire ship to get to the escape pod. And this takes forever. You'll be constantly checking your watch and wondering how this can possibly go on for another 40 to 50 minutes. Finally, after half their crew dies, they make it to the escape pod, but surprise, it's programmed to go straight into the black hole. So everyone heads through. We get this really awkward spinning scene while they go through. This is where things go off the rails if they hadn't completely by this point. When the evil scientist beard guy goes through, he appears in a hellish landscape, merges with one of his robots, and becomes what I can only describe as the devil. And somehow, our main characters make it out and head back for Earth. So I guess going through a black hole is like wishing on a shooting star? So what did we learn today? Well, we learned that when Disney can't do something, they just buy the rights to it. And I know I'm not usually overly critical on this channel, and I may have been a little harsh on this movie, but it really seems like just a shameless cash grab that not much thought was put into. Well, thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, leave a comment, and click dislike if you think you could survive a black hole.